So, LEGO has released a new theme called Dreams, and with that they have made a brand new show to go with it, LEGO Dreams Trials of the Dream Chasers. And being the 23-year-old fangirl obsessed with LEGO shows that I am, I had to watch with my older sister, also obsessed with LEGO shows. And this video is the result.
Dream, 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 dream.
First, just so we don't plunge into the deep end right away, the basic gist of the show is that these normal kids, we don't actually know how old they are. Some stuff says middle school and some stuff says high school. Either way, these normal kids in Brooklyn find out that they can go to the dream world in their sleep and they can create stuff there in the form of dream crafting, and they have to stop the Nightmare King. Low-key, if you combine Troll Hunters and Shark Boy and Lava Girl, this is what you get. So now that we got that out of the way, let's get into the episodes themselves. Episode 1, The Awakening. So the show starts with this really cool guy that just dies. He's super cool, super dead. He was also voiced by Giles Panton, so that's pretty cool. So anyway, we go into the real world and meet our first character, Mateo. He's decent, non-existing character arc, kind of an artist mood. He's nice, but also kind of a jerk. We'll get into that later. Mateo doesn't want anything to do with this stupid sports ball week that they're doing, and he wants to do art. He doesn't want to get all beat up with dodgeball or whatever, which is hacking mood, but apparently this is weird, and Izzy's basically like, why don't you like sports ball, you social outcast? This is why you don't have friends. Izzy, by the way, is his younger sister. Speaking of Izzy, hecking obnoxious. Naruto runs everywhere. It'd be funny once or twice, but it's like all the time. One of her first instincts in the dream world, which we'll talk about, but it's to eat grass. Says turkey way too much. I am tired of hearing this word. I feel like her entire personality is just this.
I watch a lot of anime and apparently I know what I'm doing!
She also kind of ends up traumatized multiple times in the show. Also, why the heck is she on the countertop? Anyway, so Mateo and Izzy have a dad. He's just like there, I guess. So they go out and Mateo's like, whoa, I found a shiny thing in the garbage pile, better keep it. Might have germs or something, but I'm sure it's fine. Who cares about the broken glass? They get some food from the food cart. Mrs. Castillo, she exists. They go to school and Logan is like, yo, heck you. Logan, I actually like this character. One of the only characters that actually has a proper, like, character arc going on. He's like one of the only ones of like character development or consistent personality or depth. And also, bonus points, he's voiced by Vincent Tong. We'll talk about Cooper too, because he's right there. Cooper, he's fine, but kind of bland. I don't really have a problem with him. He's chill, to be fair. He does have a little bit of depth as well. Mostly acts like a referee between Mateo and Logan, though. I almost kind of question his point other than that. Also, despite giving the rest of the kids last names, he does not have one. At least not at the moment. Also on LEGO's YouTube channel banner, they just blocked him with a pencil. Like, now I feel kind of bad for him. He also ends up kind of traumatized. They go home and Izzy continues to harass Mateo for just existing. He's literally just sitting there while she's doing her own thing, and apparently that's a problem. Like, oh my gosh, you're drawing, you're gonna be alone for your entire life. Now I'm gonna go watch anime alone because I'm quirky. They go to bed and end up in the dream world and are apparently confused about why their sibling is in their dream. I'd say having family members show up in your dream is pretty normal, but okay. I guess they know it's a lucid dream thing right off the bat, but that's still weird. Then they just accept it, like, yeah, this makes sense, why not? Mateo's OC is real and it's beautiful. It's a blob named Z-Blob. Z-Blob is the best character. I adore this little gel capsule. I love him, probably because he doesn't talk, but he's great. 10 out of 10. He wants to be a pizza chef despite hating pepperoni. I support him and his dreams. Mateo hesitates for like 1 minute outside the door, and then he goes in like, I'm not gonna die alone, and that's pretty much the end of his character arc. Like at the 10-minute mark of the first episode, his character arc is pretty much like just done. Izzy eats grass, and Mateo starts drawing, even though there's no reason for him to think the drawings would carry through into the real world. Then boom, it's a nightmare. Creepy cage man, dream crafting, and they're saved by K-pop.
Take it all back. I love K-pop.
Also, Night Hunter's there. It's my Blorbo. Save him. Get him out of there. Nightmare King is mean to him. He's basically a Western bounty hunter with a ferryman. Anyway, Z-Blob, the Blob Boy, is in the real world, and Mr. Oz talks to Mateo after school like, tell me your dreams. Speaking of Oz, Mr. Oz, is their science teacher. He's pretty chill. At least we have some sort of responsible adult figure, kind of. He's chill, but why is he letting children fight in the dream wars? And Cooper is just in a dream coma, fading out. Not sure why they didn't take him to like a hospital or something, but okay. The moral! If your sibling is in your dream, then you are sharing a dream, and you and the dream world is real. Face your fears and go through the door so you can eat grass.
It tastes like cotton candy.
If you were an artist and you want to draw a lot, then apparently everyone will hate you. Don't dreamcraft, you'll die. And remember, pick up that weird broken glass from the garbage in the street and just keep it. It's totally safe. Not really, don't do that. Episode 2! Dream Chasers. We open with Zoe, mysterious dream bandit trying to do something, and she ends up accomplishing nothing. Good job. Nice to see Night Hunter, though. Let's talk about Zoe, by the way. Zoe kind of feels like they were trying too hard to make an edgy character. She's kind of music-y.
Oh no. Is she gonna sing?
She's randomly voiced by Sarah Jeffrey, who is Audrey from Descendants.
Want a piece of this?
Aw man, that definitely means she's gonna sing. No hate or anything, but apparently the fact that she's voiced by her apparently deserves its own page in the credits. She's probably not the one who decided that, but it's kind of weird. So anyway, Mateo and Izzy are like, yo, we gotta go to Dream World and save Cooper, and it's like super stressful, and then they fall asleep within like 5 seconds, which is kind of baffling to me. I feel like that'd be really difficult given the situation, but okay. Night Hunter's back, they go to the village of really kind of pointless dreamlings. They start dreamcrafting, gel capsule ascends! They rescue Cooper. Izzy brought her shark plushie, Mr. Sharky Jaw, into the dream world, and she starts using it to fight, using dream crafting. Mr. Sharky Jaw, actually kind of cute. Then he gets turned into a monster truck boat thing. Never mind, rip. Gives Izzy so much trauma. Mr. Owl shows up and just starts shooting the little nightmare guys with a gun, then almost dies. But then he explains how there's dream crafting in the Night Bureau, whee! There's a talking chimpanzee, his name is Albert. I don't really understand, but okay. This part of his character bio on the LEGO website is absolutely terrifying. It has a very threatening aura. Anyway, pink fluffy unicorns dancing on rainbows. Not nightmares. They're dancing on nightmares. Get it? Nightmare. Anyway, the Nightmare King has returned. They wake up and Izzy decides to act like phone calls or so 1999.
What is this, 1999?
Cringe. This thing is heckin' creepy! They all stand in the middle of the street in the middle of the night in the middle of New York, and Logan is here for some reason. He has super speed or lives next door, cause otherwise how the heck did he get there so fast? This website claims he lives in their neighborhood, but it's not said in the show. Ninjago reference? So anyway, Mateo gets into some trouble. Mateo was touched by a night terror, so Mateo's like dying and stuff. So Mr. Oz just kidnaps them all, and Mateo almost dies, etc., but he doesn't. I will say this is actually some pretty good drama, though. This is actually fine. Also, maybe I just don't get this, but can someone please explain to me why the parent signatures for Cooper and Logan is just Cooper and Logan again? Did they sign the names themselves, or like... I don't know. Mr. Oz is like, you need to learn how to dreamcraft. I kind of thought they already did that, but I guess they need to improve it? The moral. Don't bring your plushies into the dream world or they'll turn into monster trucks. Also, don't wake up from your nightmares, you'll bring a night terror and you might die. Just ignore the issues with your friends and only sort of apologize. Episode 3, Chased Dreamers. You heard episode 2? Dream Chasers? Well, this is Chased Dreamers. Here's Nightmare King. Nightmare King. Why is he kinda... Is he kinda... He's an okay villain, honestly. Yeah. I literally cannot unhear the dad from Martha Speaks being in, like, a villain arc or something, but that's on me. That's my burden.
Everyone has a weakness.
Now apparently we're letting anyone in the dream world. I'm confused. Magic School Bus looks different. Logan almost hecking dies because he doesn't want to wear a seatbelt. This line here actually was actually kind of funny because I was not expecting to hear it.
My God, son, you don't know how to use a seatbelt?
They go to the strange sandcastle Dreamforge child to go get hourglasses, because that's what they need to use to dreamcraft, apparently. There's a test to get there and Logan fails immediately. He's having a bad episode today. Mr. Oz is like, yeah, he's fine, don't worry about it. Cooper fails. Izzy fails. They're dwindling in numbers. The lore gets more confusing as we're told you need an hourglass, but then you also need to be prepared for when you don't have one. But they didn't need one before, and I'm very confused. Mateo's like, I got a pencil, then... died. Or, wakes up. Nightmare King is like, nightmares, I want to rule, blah, blah, blah. The main takeaway is that he's mean to my boy 900 and needs to stop. Mateo, like, loudly talks about the Dream Forge in front of random people. Glad it's maybe not like a secret or something. Oh, by the way, the test didn't even really hecking matter. It was a mislead. Y'all got flung around and smacked for literally no reason. And it's actually not a strange Sandcastle Dreamforge child, it's a strange Sandcastle Dreamforge man.
Welcome to the Dream Forge.
Or child that talks like a man, I don't know what his deal is. They decide they don't want to actually get their hourglasses because the stakes are too high and also too confusing. But Mr. Oz is like, yo, you gotta do this or else things are gonna be bad, so you know you might want to do it. And this random kid, Nova, is having nightmares, and Izzy's like, we're gonna go back and get hourglasses and everything, whether you like it or not, Mateo. So, you know, good thing he actually kind of decided that before, because otherwise I don't think he was gonna get a choice in the matter. They go back into the dream world, and Izzy immediately hecked off to go save Nova and promptly gets in danger. Anyway, the gang catches up, and they all get away from Nighthunter by leaving in a giant wheel. The moral. Think outside of the box and become a hamster. When at first you don't succeed, just climb a ladder to get to the other side. Also, wear your seatbelt or you'll end up like Logan. Wear your seatbelt. Be safe. Episode 4, Dream Forge. The gang goes out to find the Dream Forge because apparently they forgot how to get there between the last episode and this one, so now they're lost. Mrs. Castillo is there, she's like, there's a storm coming. And the turtle's different. Izzy just gets hecking snatched by this thing because she has one of the crossbows from the evil guys. But unfortunately, we have to follow her along, and she gets taken to a cave, and Zoe's there, and we end the scene with an awkward silence that goes on for a few seconds too long. Also, I need to talk more about this thing. They act like this griffin is cool and beautiful, but it's hecking terrifying. Like, just straight up terrifying. I hate the way this thing emotes and moves. It's a cool design in theory, but I hate it. Zion also hasn't been seen outside of the dream world. Thank goodness. They also talk, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't really care, so he's like, wah, Nighthunter took my music. That's it. Nightmare King is being mean to my boy Nighthunter, again. The others go to the village because they think Izzy's there and they end up saving some peeps, then Zoe and Izzy show up and they all go to the Dream Forge. The first test thing for them to get hourglasses is like a room full of sand and Logan just dips out immediately. The kids remaining all have like individual nightmarish tests. Mateo has got no hands and Forge Nightmare King is like, sup? Mateo wills his hands back and just punches Forge Nightmare King in the face. It's kind of hilarious though because Mr. Oz and Nightmare King have the same voice actor and now he's like the strange combined version of both of them in this scene.
Mateo, where do you think you're going? You are not excused.
Cooper has to deal with his mom and hordes of miniature soccer trophies. By the way, heck his mom. Izzy is in a claw machine because she's Mr. Sharky Girl traumatized, and Logan, Logan's gone already. They go for the last trials and get their hourglasses, which I guess is important. They also get a tree sapling. I don't know, just for kicks, I guess. But anyway, they're also like, let's put this on our landing. They, don't explain how this whole landing thing works. In the show, it's like where they spawn in. It's kind of confusing. They act like it's your Igloo and Club Penguin. The only time they explain this is if you watch the Behind the Voices video, hey Tommy, where they're like, oh, this is your safe zone area. And that's that. The moral. Steal crossbows and you'll make friends. Face your fears. Episode 5, Peak Performance. So we have them preparing for Sheep Week here. They're all trying to jump. I'm surprised any of them can jump with the minifig legs. Mateo can't jump and the coach immediately belittles him instead of trying to help. Hate this guy. He's terrible at his job. Doesn't actually try to help any of the kids improve. Burn him with fire. Well, don't burn him, but fire him. No, Sam! What are you doing? Izzy has a new character design in the dream world that's actually kind of nice, but totally isn't just plagiarized from the manga she was just reading and actually isn't original at all. Also, who let her know she could even do this? Mateo gets a magical girl transformation, they go to the Pillow Land to try to find the Sandman. Mr. Oz packs too much and is basically useless this entire episode. We get the Bunshu Bunny character here. It's also sort of unsettling even though it's supposed to be cute. Logan almost gets run over by Cooper, then he uses the broken hourglass from before, which is called Lunia's hourglass by the way. It has lore and stuff, but who the heck is Lunia? We don't really know. And that caused an avalanche. Meanwhile, Nightmare King is like,
I know where that reverberated from.
Okay, why'd you phrase it like that? Why couldn't you just say, I know where that was? Kinda weird. There's a Yeti they're freaking out about for like a minute, but Izzy just gives the Yeti a makeover, and for some odd reason that enables Cooper to give himself his own magical growth transformation. Like, okay. They run away from Night Hunter and they go to the cave that originally belonged to the Sandman, and they make snowmen versions of themselves scarily fast, and the Yeti does a yodel. This makes sense in context, kind of. They all have to run down the mountain, there are scuffles, Zunia's hourglass is getting thrown everywhere, probably making it more broken. I'm glad the glass isn't like important or something, because it'd be long gone by now, good luck. The Yeti hecking basically dies because he turns into a night terror.
Died.
I theorize that he, and maybe even the guy from episode 1, might come back in the future, but I don't know for sure. They use the Sandman's seashell necklace that they got from the Yeti to make a map thing. Logan name drops Galaxy Squad for no reason.
Oh, we doing Galaxy Squad now?
Izzy is like really upset about the Yeti she knew for like 2 minutes, but okay, it's kind of valid, but it's also kind of ridiculous at the same time. Mr. Oz is also really sympathetic about this, despite not even knowing what they're talking about. This man is clueless. Back in the real world, Mateo still can't hecking jump, and Logan tries to help him, which, I don't know, maybe should be the coach's job? But despite the help, Mateo still can't jump, and the coach gets angry like, you're goofing off, and people are trying to practice. Like, I don't know, maybe do your job? Also, like, what? People? Nobody else is even here! He's just staring at them, literally no one else is here!
People are trying to practice.
The moral. Give your enemies makeup, it'll probably solve the issue. Don't overpack. Don't get attached to Yetis. It is better to start an avalanche than it is to start an unnecessary foot race. Episode 6, The Anomaly. Into the next episode. They apparently randomly trust Mrs. Castillo to hear them rambling about the dream world now because they ran into her last time, I guess? She doesn't remember her dreams, guys, what are you doing? She knows everything, guys. She knows the secrets of the universe because people just say things around her. They talk about a chicken incident here, which never gets explained, and also makes it feel like we missed out on something, which is kinda weird. Cooper is very stressed about his school assignments and stuff, and he reasonably, in my opinion, refuses to do what I assume is write a late assignment for Logan, and apparently that makes him a bad friend. Mateo is like,
guess that's more important than your friends.
bro, make it make sense. This is actually my main problem with the episode. Everyone is mad at Cooper for, like, no reason. They go to the Night Bureau and they see dream stuff. Einstein was a dream chaser. Real people lore. They find out that Z-Blob is the first thing that's passed from the dream world to the real world in a long time, and apparently that's a problem. A Night Bureau inspector lady shows up, and that's also a problem, because she wants to capture anything from the dream world, like Z-Blob. The inspector locks up Mr. Oz, then almost gets a hold of Z-Blob, but she's zapped with a machine that makes her remember her last dream, and apparently that dream was of her being a baby. And this gag gets really old really fast. Like, basically the moment it happens. It's my other problem with this episode. Then Mateo drops the precious gel capsule out of the window. But then Mateo falls out the window too. Deserved. It's what you get for dropping the blob. That being said, how did he get through that fall without, like, any injuries? This episode is just really rough on poor Z-Blob. He's getting hecking stepped on, rolled on. He got used as a condiment, like somebody ate part of him. Also, heck, Cooper's mom again, like, for real. He's in the vents! I saw Mr. Oz in the vents! Logan hears Mr. Oz in the vent above and is totally chill, like,
Yo, Mr. Oz, what are you doing in there? Looking for rats?
like, this is normal! they don't even know that he was locked up! they see him in the vents and they're just like, oh, okay. I think Z-Blob actually finds this part fun, but I'm still concerned. No, he craves the helium! Cooper eats some food and then finally feels a little bit relaxed, and then everything is going to heck around him. Like, Z-Blob is flying through the streets and Cooper's brother shows up and contributes nothing to the situation. Take a non-alcoholic shot every time Vincent Tong voices a character in the show.
Oh, I can't have my little brother breaking the family winning streak, alright?
Which, I mean, is good. I want an entire show where Vincent Tong voices every character, but wow. Mateo almost dies again. The only reason why Mateo isn't, like, in a full-body cast or dead is because Cooper yoinked him over. And by the way, Mateo doesn't even thank him, and immediately starts being passive-aggressively annoyed that Cooper wasn't involved in what they were doing before. Like, how dare you have important stuff to do? Like, come on, Mateo, I thought you were a better character than this. Also, he's like shocked that Cooper doesn't actually want to be doing any of those things. Like, dude, that's kind of obvious. But then they're like, chill, I guess, now. Anyway, so Mateo flies through the streets of Brooklyn again, Z-Blob gets small-sized again, and they almost get what I assume is basically an army sent in after them back to the Night Bureau building. And they're just like, yo, Cooper, fix this highly engineered thing that you know absolutely nothing about without a manual because you're like the fix-it guy of the group, I guess. And apparently Cooper is supposed to be the guy who wants to be like a mechanic and everything, but they kinda don't say this stuff for the show. It's like in character bios and stuff. And Mr. Oz is completely lost, like he can't hear any of them. Inspector Lady gets back to normal and just lets them off the hook because Cooper fixed the Dream Ray thing, but she still thinks they're sus. Mr. Oz is out of the vent now, by the way. Izzy goes to Zoe and is like, are you coming to the party? And Zoe's like, no, you didn't invite me to the Discord server. I mean, landing. So they invite her to the landing, and there's the tree sapling now, by the way, that's fully grown, but I completely missed it the first time I was watching because they don't tell you about it at all. And Cooper is like, I found my own way now, and I'm like, oh, okay, so this plot thread's just gone now, okay. The moral. Don't drop your Z-Blob. Thoroughly inspect your hot dogs. Make sure to get angry at your friends for having their own lives. And never apologize. Oz is still the imposter, by the way. I still saw him vent. We'll go into the 7th episode now, named Cheat Code, and this is the worst episode. And we'll get into the reasons why shortly, because this episode should really just be named Logan calls everyone out correctly and they act like he's crazy. We started the episode already bad because Nightmare King is yelling at Night Hunter again. I need to start listing when he's not mean to him at this point. Look at the poor little guy, he looks so upset. Then we follow it up with this awkward and very kind of out of nowhere love triangle? At least they're acting like it's about crushes despite it being about Sheep Week? Or is it both? Like, what's going on? We were normal yesterday. Mateo had like a crush since episode 1 for like 2 seconds, but it was never brought up again until now. There's a lore scene, then we go into the Cyber Realm. They play this battle royale type laser tag game, and right off the bat, Mateo and Izzy are cheating by using dream crafting, which Logan calls them out on, but they just don't care. But at least Izzy gets taken out very quickly. In the words of Mateo,
dream crafting isn't cheating, it's what real dream chasers do.
Which is also like, okay, wow, kind of rude. Which is another thing, I kind of hate the way that everyone is mad at Logan for leaving the Dream Forge early. Like, yeah, he dipped out, but part of that was because he was scared, and then after that he's still hanging out with them and helping, and they just consider him lesser for it. It's kind of weird, especially since he might get another chance at it later. It's not necessarily permanent. Also, like, it totally is cheating. Nobody else here has that kind of ability, and the only thing Logan is doing at this point is he has 2 guns at one point, which doesn't seem that crazy. Mateo literally has a partner when nobody else does. How is this not cheating?
Z-Blob's getting all your kills, cheater!
I'd even be okay if they established in the beginning, in the rules, that it was okay, but they didn't. They just assumed it was okay. Then during the unfair fight, we get Lance, being like, here's a totally such flash drive bestie to cheat, and don't be suspicious that I can talk and have a personality unlike everybody else here. And here's the thing, yes, this is cheating. This is literally hacking. This is a bad thing. However, it does not mean that Mateo isn't cheating. I'm also going to point out that Logan's first instinct was to refuse, but Lance convinced him to. Mateo didn't even need that. So Logan proceeds to cheat and win, and Mateo somehow manages to see the tiny flash drive in Logan's hand, despite being faced away from him and his hand covering the drive, but you know, like Lego logic, I guess. So Mateo is like, are you cheating? And Logan is like, yeah, but you were too. And Mateo is like, dream crafting isn't cheating. Like, dude, it literally is. It's an unfair advantage that you have that literally nobody else has. Z-Blob can run around taking out people at the same time you are. How is that fair? Anyway, so the flash drive was a virus. There's a Realm Guardian, they're fighting. There's this whole thing with Izzy seeing the Sharky Jaw ship and being like, oh, I'm too Sharky Jaw traumatized, I don't want to do this. And Mateo's like, oh, okay. But she follows him anyway. Mr. Oz and Albert show up, and they just magically have a flash drive with the patch for the virus, despite not knowing the situation 10 seconds ago. I assume they dreamcrafted it right then, but they could have showed that, maybe. And now we're back to the fight, and Izzy's once again like, I'm too sharky traumatized, I don't want to do this. And they're like, oh, okay. And she joins them in battle anyway, like 2 minutes later, so why did we even have the first scene? So they fix the place, and Lance turns out to be the Nightmare King doing his best hello fellow kids impression. So yeah, the moral. Don't cheat unless Mateo decides it's okay. Don't plug in random flash drives from strangers. But actually, yeah, don't do that either. Actually, don't plug in random stuff you find. Episode 8. The bigger picture. Mateo is all like crushing on Zoe and is also like, no, nobody can look at my art, even though it's based on what we just did and it's drawings of them. The coach just steals the energy drink that Logan is drinking out of his hand, like, out of the can. Not actually out of his hands, you know. But literally just yoinks it and is like, you shouldn't drink this. Then he drinks it and ends up with an energy drink addiction. So Rarity, I mean, Mrs. Putnam is a teacher we haven't seen before, only mentioned, and she doesn't like loud music, and she's pretty soft-spoken, so everyone's just hecking rude to her, Logan mostly, and doesn't really notice her. She announces a test for the next day, which is also to be named Sheep Week, so the only logical way to pass the test now is to cheat the whole thing by using the dream powers, and not, you know, paying attention or something. Well, they know a lot about cheating, wouldn't they? It's becoming the standard for them. There's also this whole Insomniacs Club thing, with a poster that is extremely hard to read. The best I got is, where? Goat prod. Ron, 2 a.m. Seems legit. And also, apparently Cooper can read stuff that's not even on the poster, so, you know, it makes sense. The school apparently has, like, no issues with this either. Like, are they just like, oh, that must be an anime club or something, nothing to be concerned about, must be a Mimi. So they go into the dream world to cheat on the test, and most of them get distracted by other stuff, such as the coach turning into an energy drink golem, because the only gag we got apparently is look at the adults doing stuff adults wouldn't normally do, look at the silly adults. And Mateo was like, I'm gonna go ask Zoe out / just literally talk to her, because I can't do that in the waking world, for some reason, despite them talking a lot before. Then Logan gets approached by the Hello Fellow Kids form of the Nightmare King again.
My dude brother!
And he's all like, give me the hourglass, I can fix it, I know a guy, and then you'll be a hero, and won't be constantly messing stuff up, I'm not sus at all. And Logan apparently can't see that many red flags here, so he's actually considering it. They find Mrs. Putnam in the dream, and she goes all giant monster mode, etc. I'm still not sure if this is supposed to be like a funny thing, or just, oh no, she's scary, because it's not either of those things to me. This griffin is still terrifying, I hate it. Mateo talks to Zoe and is apparently shocked that the girl wearing, like, the punk rock clothes is into rock music? Like, it's not that big of a stretch. I'd be more surprised if she was in there with a banjo singing polka music or something. We see a glimpse of the Insomniacs Club, and they're making, like, creepy chalk art, but other than that, they just drop this entire plot thread for now. Anyway, they realize, Mrs. C told them, that the teacher wants to be seen, so they let her play music on the street for people and everything is fine. Next day, the teacher rewrote the test anyway, so cheating did nothing and we'll never find out if they failed it either. Then they play tetherball and win. The moral. Don't cheat by using your dream powers. Don't accept random energy drinks in the hallway. And if you're quiet and soft-spoken, don't just stand up for yourself. You have to grow like 80 feet and get mean and loud before anyone listens to you. But then, you know, they will, so... Episode 9. Short Sheeped. Finally, an interesting episode. Logan hecking breaks into Mr. Oz's office in the middle of the night and steals Zunia's hourglass to give to Sussy Boy in the cyber realm.
Dude bro!
Nightmare King apparently can't wait 2 minutes before he starts being evil in their interaction, and Logan is like,
Oh, okay, stop being a weirdo, Lance.
like the red flags! Logan is like, please don't do this, I have soccer in the morning, and Nightmare King is just like, no, or something, I don't know.
Thanks, bro.
He totally gets kidnapped, and the other plot in this episode is dedicated to Sheep Week stuff, and it's boring and terrible and pointless. We do not have a reason to care about Sheep Week or anything at this school. Actually, the only thing that matters is Z-Blob eating a potato chip. That's it. Then he gets a soccer ball thrown at him.
Catch!
Since Logan is gone and they're not really concerned about him because they assume he's in the Hamptons with his parents, they're just running around trying to find someone to join their team. You know, in the world where Cooper could have died and all that, like, maybe check in on Logan properly, but apparently Logan lives in the Twilight Zone by himself here in Brooklyn, so okay. They try to get Zoe to join the team, and she's like, no. And Mateo is like, you can't live in the dream world all the time. And apparently this is extremely offensive and requires an apology, and frankly, personally, I don't understand why. Especially since he wasn't willing to give Cooper an apology in the other episode. So over in Evil Land, Logan and Sneak are bonding over potato chips, and Vincent Dog is talking to himself, but go off, this is great. There's this whole thing where they keep cutting from Sheep Week soccer to the interesting fight that's going on with Logan and Sneak that Nightmare King is forcing them into, and it's honestly so annoying because one of these plot lines is like way more interesting than the other, and can someone please check on Mrs. C? Is she doing okay? Is she dead? And during the fight, Logan just turns into this small blue thing. It's such an ugly design to me. I think it's supposed to be another thing that's funny, but it's not. At least, it's not funny to me. He has fingers. But at least he's, like, stronger than this, but Logan deserves better than this as a character, and he definitely deserves more than this being his only minifigure in the LEGO sets. Why is he naked? What the heck? They have printing on the other guy. Why is he naked? Oh, wait, okay, she's good. They win the soccer game or whatever, but in the dream world, we got Nightmare King being like, yo, Logan, finish him. End him. Commit murder on this grim spawn. And Logan is like, no. And also, Sneak, your boss stinks. The whole dynamic with Nightmare King trying to convert Logan to the dark side and Logan and Sneak bonding is like the most interesting thing to happen to this show yet. So of course we have to cut back to the others. They're all like, let's go find Logan in the dream world with a compass so we can rub the fact that we won without him in his face, but also we can't let Mr. Oz know about it for some reason despite the fact that we used the magic compass before to find our teacher and it was way sketchier back then. And they find out that Logan was taken by the Nightmare King and they feel bad now. And honestly good, they deserve to feel bad. The moral: give chips to weird cats. Maybe don't assume your friend left you for no reason, he might have been kidnapped by demons. Win at soccer and don't give important hourglasses to strangers. Episode 10, The Grim Escape. Finally, we reached the last episode so far. Mr. Oz explains that Logan probably took the hourglass and Zoe immediately defends him and Mateo immediately starts saying that he stole it. Both of them being so severe with the sides they took is confusing to me. Why does Zoe immediately defend him and why is Mateo being a jerk again?
Why are you defending him?
Like, yes, Logan did steal it, but I'm just gonna say they don't even know for sure that he did or not at this point. Next, they have a bomb and a plan. Nighthunter is all like, you should have been evil, and Logan gets thrown into a cage and then gets out again, but Sneak is helping him now, so cool. There's a wolf now, and it's like chasing them. I low-key zoned out both times I watched this scene. Logan and Sneak get the hourglass, and everyone else loses theirs. Also, since when can Z-Blob become binoculars? Logan just jumps at Mateo's face instead of saying hi, so Z-Blob just yeets himself and attacks Logan. Fear the Blob. Mateo summons his pencil thing, and Sneak stops it, which is good because I guess Mateo was just gonna, like, kill Logan. Dumb friendship drama that wouldn't have been resolved on its own unless Sneak was there. Mr. Osbit's keeping the bomb in his beard, and also they somehow managed to tame the wolf or convinced it. It's kind of unclear to attack the Grim spawn. And Logan almost dies again. So they're escaping. Logan and Cooper like collaboratively make a vehicle, which I guess is called dream bashing? Is this like an official term or are they just making this stuff up? Never heard it before, but okay. Albert comes back with the ship, and they almost get out of there, but then they drop Lunia's hourglass and have to go after it. They do, but the bomb goes off and Sneak dies.
Died.
Back to the dream world, Logan's hat has an eye now, and apparently Sneak wasn't on our side. He was alive, and it's all a plan.
Yeah.
I have a feeling he might switch back to our side later, though. I would not be surprised, and I hope he does. And because Nighthunter saw Z-Blob go into the waking world, Nightmare King's plan is to cross over too and take over. And that's that for the last episode. The moral? You can steal stuff and it's fine as long as Mr. Oz said so. You don't even have to explain why you stole it. Don't just attack random creatures, they might be Logan. And check your hat for eyes.
Dream, 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 dream.
So, originally this was the part of the video where I was gonna go into the good, the bad, and the weird, but due to the fact that the rest of Season 1 seems to be dropping soon, like on the 11th or something, I'm gonna try and be fair and wait for those episodes to be released before sharing my in-depth thoughts on the show. Who knows, maybe they'll fix some of the things I have a problem with. I will say, though, that the animation of the show is currently very weird. I don't like how their faces are, like, layered. Like, you can see, like, certain, like, eyebrows and their mouths, like, on top of their face having shadow, and it's just, and And also the textures are like Uncanny Valley. It's all kind of Uncanny Valley. And also the show right now, currently, as of the first 10 episodes, is bad. Honestly, it's pretty bad. It has some good points, but yikes, I hope it gets better in part 2. So with that, please feel free to give a like, comment what your thoughts on the show are. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let me know. And make sure to subscribe if you want to see other random Lego-y content that I do. So, bye!